So I hope I can just give you a window into who I am, and afterwards I am really at your disposal. You can reach me in a variety of ways because this is quite the race this year. And I think it's really important that people restore their sense of confidence that someone's really working for them. And so I want to just kind of share my story with you. I had an unusual childhood. I actually grew up in a foster home. And my mom, who is 89 and lives with us today, is actually my foster mom. So how lucky am I? I've had these amazing life experiences that give me a different viewpoint into the world. But with that, I'll tell you, I really thought lightning has struck once. I'm going to have smooth sailing for the rest of my life. And so I had a very glamorous early adulthood. I worked in the fashion business. I traveled the world. I became a shoe designer. I got married in Hong Kong. I lived in Taiwan. And then we moved back to St. Louis, where my husband was raised. And you know, everything was fine. Had 2 children, decided to stay home with them, and started serving on a lot of community boards because I always wanted my boys to know that women, just because they made the choice to be home, were always incredibly valuable and contributing to society. And I thought that was very important that I give them that message. So I started working on boards, and you know, it was great, and everything's going along. And one day, my life is forever changed. I was 37 years old. Our boys at the time were 5 and 9, and I am diagnosed with an extraordinarily rare form of lymphoma. So rare that it's an orphan disease. They don't even research it. Now, I think if I were sitting in your position, I might say, well, you know, that's sad, but I can't relate to that. So here's what I'd like to ask you to do. If you have any history of diabetes or heart disease in your family or amongst your friends, please raise your hand. If there is any Parkinson's, ALS, spinal injury, MS, or, yeah, raise your hand. No, everyone keep your hands up if you had them up before. Okay. Any cancer? Raise your hand. All right, so let's look around the room. Basically, we're all going to be patients at one point in our lives, or we have loved ones who are patients. So my story is, how lucky am I that I just walked in those footsteps a little bit sooner? Because here's what happened. They said to me, you know, there's only 2 opportunities for cure. The first is a rigorous round of chemotherapy. So I had my chemotherapy. I took it immediately because I was part of a leadership group, and that group was going to Washington to learn about a variety of issues, and we were supposed to take these leadership skills and bring them back to the community. So I traveled to Washington in the middle of my chemotherapy, and I learned about this somatic cell nuclear transfer. And I have to tell you, I am actually listening to something that might affect my life as a patient, and you know what? I couldn't connect to it. I couldn't. It's a very difficult topic. It really didn't speak to me. I listened to it and I thought, yeah, whatever. I'm going to be cured from chemotherapy. That was it for me. And I was, for 1.5 years. And one day my cancer came back. My husband had made a promise that if I came out of remission and I only had one more opportunity for cure, we would travel the world with our sons. They were 7 and 11 at the time. Because we knew, more than many others, that life is short. And I wanted to make sure that I showed them what was important in the world, and I wanted to see their faces when they saw the wonders of the world. I have to tell you honestly, though, we also thought that maybe we could find another cure outside of the country. We were really hoping that somebody had missed something here. So we saw doctors in Paris, and we saw doctors at Hadassah Hospital in Israel, and you know what they said? They said, go home. You have the finest health care in Missouri. You are with world-class doctors. Go home. We did not think that was going to be the answer. So we did. We went home. When I came back, I understood that for 4 years running, the legislators had been working to criminalize somatic cell nuclear transfer, this research. Now, I want to make a point here that's very important. They were looking to criminalize it with a Class B felony, 15-year penalty for any doctor, scientist, or patient who pursued this research. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to Jefferson City. I'm going to go in my wig as I'm preparing for my own adult stem cell transplant. I'm a mom. I'm going to tell my story, and they're going to listen to me because I'm sure that they're not taking that into the equation. And I know that I can make a difference. I can have my voice heard because that's representation. And I want to tell you the verbatim quote that I received. I'm sure it's a bitter pill for you to swallow, but we have to vote our moral conscience and do what's ethically right and criminalize this research. I am one of those people who feels honored to walk into the Capitol in Jefferson City. There is a seal in the center of our state. It has the motto. Anybody know what the motto is? The motto for the state of Missouri is, "Let the welfare of the people be supreme law." I am one of those people that believes you govern by that standard. I am concerned about somebody deciding that there should be a moral hierarchy created by people who govern. I believe that people have a right to be honored in their opinions and to be heard. That is representation. So I went into the hospital for my transplant. I went in a patient, and I came out a candidate for state representative.